What is going on, everyone? Welcome to another very exciting episode right here on the MIgardener channel. I am so excited for today's episode. In fact, the whole ride over here, I've been excited. I've been just eagerly awaiting this moment because in today's episode, we're going to be showing you guys the very first glimpse at our commercial production of giant crimson tomatoes. So we are here. We're on the farm that's been growing them now all summer. We've been quite quiet about it. We did post one time on Facebook about it, and we're here. They have 6 rows of the giant crimson tomato. And I'll rewind really quick for those of you that don't even know about this journey, why this is so important, and giant crimson what. And so about 5 years ago, we found at an antique store on Etsy a shadow box. And in that shadow box had seed packets. And it was cool enough that it had seed packets, but what made it exceptional was the fact that there was actually seeds enclosed in the seed packets. So we bought it. And there was a radish, a lettuce, a beet, and a tomato. And of all the seeds, there was one that I wanted to grow. There was one that was exceptionally important to me, and that was the giant crimson tomato. Because the giant crimson tomato, for those of you who don't know, was extinct. It was basically bred out of existence by the industrialization of the farm. And we took that variety, and out of about 500 seeds, we could only get one to survive. 2 germinated, 1 died, 1 survived. And from that point, that started the journey of the giant crimson tomato. And so many of you actually grown them in your gardens because we were able to, after about 5 years, save up enough seed to begin to distribute. And that to me was, that was a dream come true to me because my goal has always been to kind of leave my mark on the gardening community. And I never expected to come across this really cool variety. I never expected it to germinate. I never expected it to have such a cool backstory. And all of those things kind of culminated to this amazing story. And so we're here. We're actually at the farm that's been growing them. And so this farm is really special to us as well because it's a biodynamic farm. It's actually being grown bio-intensively using organic practices and wood chips. It's a really cool example for what is possible organically, and the plants look awesome. So I have not yet seen these tomatoes. I haven't even picked one. Geneva ran over and picked a couple, but I have not actually picked one. So I want to pick the very first one with you guys. So let's go share in this exciting moment. All right, so come back here. Basically, it's just starting to come on. So the tomatoes are not incredibly prolific just yet. It's barely mid-August. So we're just starting to kind of get into tomato season. But let's see if I can find some here. A lot of you have asked me over the years if the giant crimson is determinate or indeterminate. And from everything we've seen, it's an indeterminate. It continues to fruit all season long. So, oh, there's actually a lot over here. Oh, there's so many over here. They're all touching the sun. I was just on the wrong side. Oh, these are beautiful. So a lot of people ask me why it's not a giant tomato if there's giant in the name. And to be honest, I don't really know. They were never that large to begin with. When we first grew them, they were only about maybe 8 to 10 ounces or so. Beautiful, beautiful, dark red. And when they ripen, these are field ripened, so they're gonna ripen a little bit less like uniformly than when I grew them in our basement. But when I grew them in our basement, they basically ripened from the bottom up, and they just ended with this beautiful crimson color, and they're so pretty. So I am so excited about this. This is so amazing, and this is a really good example. It's an overripe example. But you can kind of see when at peak ripeness, it actually gets this kind of pinkish red hue to it. Depending on which way the light hits it, at peak ripeness, it just gets this beautiful pinkish red. And that is the giant crimson. That is so pretty. So we're gonna pick as many tomatoes as we can. One of the goals of today's trip is just to get as many tomatoes we can harvest seed as possible. And there are so many in here. Now that I'm starting to see them, they're starting to ripen up, and they are absolutely beautiful. Look at that. Isn't that incredible? Absolutely gorgeous. So we're gonna get in here, we're gonna start picking. And the other question people ask me is, what about the inconsistencies? Some are big, some are small, some are round. That is what makes an heirloom an heirloom. This tomato was actually bred out of existence by the industrialization of the farm, because if you can grow a tomato that gives you a super consistent shape and size and yield, and you can depend on it, you can kind of gauge your livelihood a little better, right? So farmers obviously are advantageous, and if you're doing it for a living, you want to know how much you're going to get. You want to know that when you plant this, you're going to get X amount of pounds per acre or whatever, and you want to make sure that the shelf life is a long shelf life, so that when you send it off to a grocery store, it's not just going to rot on the shelves. And so farmers started to select varieties that met their criteria, and they didn't necessarily look out for beauty or a story. Like the reason why this was even stored in the beginning, why this was even saved as a variety, what traits made this favorable. I've never done this before, but I'm actually going to do it for the first time ever. I'm going to take a bite of the giant crimson tomato. It's incredibly sweet. It's super sweet, and it has that same texture that I fell in love with in the very beginning. It's almost like a watermelon. It's got like a very, very soft watermelon. It's got these like little bubbles of, I don't know, like little bubbles of juice that when you bite it, it kind of just gives you this really great texture. It's an awesome tomato, and as you can see, not many seeds, so it's very low on seeds. Each seed cavity might only have 15, 20 seeds in it. So definitely a unique one for sure, and one that I'm so glad that we're able to bring back, save, and I'm so thankful to our farmers for wanting to cultivate this variety. And so we're gonna get to picking, and I'll show you how much we get when it's all said and done. All right, so we're just wrapping up the day at the farm. Had so much fun. Thank you guys so much for coming with us, and I thought I'd show you all what we got. Check it out. We've got some Valencia, giant crimson, more giant crimson, MIgardener paste tomato. We got some Ivan, more giant crimsons, and then we got in the back, we got a Sheboygan tomato, absolutely beautiful. And there's a few other different odds and end tomatoes we thought we'd try, but super excited about it. Absolutely beautiful, and it's a good site. Whole car full of tomatoes. So thank you guys so much for coming out to check out this amazing farm with us and harvest these awesome tomatoes. I really appreciate all your support. If you did enjoy, make sure to throw a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and as always, this is Luke from the MIgardener channel, reminding you to grow big or go home, and we'll catch you all on the next episode. Bye.